Octopath Traveler 0 gives you a lot of ways to be overpowered early and have the perfect start possible. At the end of this step-by-step guide, you will have 8 full party members, learn the best spots to grind XP to level up fast, have the best early game equipment, and a lot of cash to burn. And your awesome journey will only start by creating your own character, and there are a lot of options here. The Twin Shot Mastery is a pretty good skill, at least in mid to late game. This will allow you to hit enemies twice with any weapon of your choice, allowing you to break enemies much faster. Get the Fighter Wristband for the additional attack it provides, Letter Fragment, and the Crested Key for your belongings, and you are good to go. The last 2 key items will make sense later on down the line. The next step is enjoying the main intro of the game, as it is a whole giant tutorial section. For the sake of spoilers, I will not be providing any story details, but I will say the names of certain bosses if needed to mark certain events. A series of fateful events will happen, and the game will ask you to choose which starting class you will take. While all of these jobs are perfectly viable in the early game, and you will eventually unlock a new job by just learning 5 skills in your protagonist's current job anyways, meaning you will unlock all jobs after a certain period of time. If you don't have a job in mind, I have 2 suggestions for you. The Scholar job can cast fire, light, and wind AoE damage and pairs perfectly well with the Scholar Alexia later on, who can cast dark and lightning AoE, so these two will be a good pairing that can cover all elements in early game. But in my opinion, the Merchant is hands down the best starting job you can pick, and there are 2 specific main reasons why I picked this job as my initial class. The skill Mystic Shot damages all enemies and restores SP for your members to the entire front row, equal to the 2% of the skill's damage dealt. This skill allows me to sustain the party's SP, so I don't need to keep using plums to recover their SP, while the Arrow of Fortune skill damage converts a percentage of the total damage dealt and turns it into JP. This will allow you to farm huge amount of JP very early in the game, allowing you to access and max the other jobs of the protagonist very quickly. Completing the intro in the tutorial of the game will also let you pick your starting influence or path that you should take. It will be either power, wealth, or fame. This is not really a big of a deal since you can change or follow any of these 3 when the game opens up anyway. I suggest going for fame or wealth for this matter and move on. After the town building tutorial, talk to Thea to commence the Rekindling Flame quest, and he will ask you to look for a certain person in Theatropolis Plains. Follow the quest marker and you will never be lost here, and eventually, you will find time and to invite him to Wishvale. Before heading back to Wishvale, make sure to visit the town of Theatropolis to unlock the fast travel so we can easily get back there later on. Heading back to Wishvale will trigger another town tutorial, and after clearing it, talk to Thea to commence Phenn's quest. This quest will lead you to the Frostland region and eventually find Phenn in the Snow Shard Grotto. In this specific dungeon, there's a side mini boss that you can take later on, so be sure to note this one. Head to Phenn's location and complete all of the interactions, and he will join your party after heading back to Wishvale. The next step is fast traveling back to Theatropolis, as we will do a lot of activities in this area. The first thing to do here is to get the high level gear in the area with path actions. You can pretty much abuse the path action system with a save and reloading trick. Let me give you an example by farming the high level gear that a soldier has located near the entrance of the amphitheater. Since I just started the game, we have only 3% chance of succeeding when trying to entreat the Sword Magic Eater. What I will do here is to save the game first and make sure that I have 5 reputation attempts. And then, I will start asking for the Magic Eater. If I fail 5 times in a row, it's not really a big deal as I can just exit to the main menu and reload my save afterwards. Then I can just repeat the process over and over until I get the item. This trick will be used on other high-level gear in this area to give you a very strong head start in the game. If you find this process taxing and annoying, you can easily skip it for now, and this is just an option. Move on to the less taxing equipment that I will suggest. Just in case you decided to get these high-level items, make sure to grab the Iron Armor as well. Your upcoming warrior will love the Sword Magic Eater, while the protagonist can wear the Iron Armor. Head to the entrance of the town and get the Helm Cleaver Mastery skill, Silver Laden Axe, and the Sturdy Helm from the soldier here. Head inside the amphitheater and talk to the listless former actress, and ask for her ancient necklace, Zephyrian fan, and robe. Next is heading to the town's library, which is not far from the soldiers where we got our Magic Eater. Then talk to the Burly Scholar. This guy has the History of Orstera, another high-level tome that you can get your hands on. Get the Double Slam Mastery as well before moving on to the next step. Near the Burly Scholar, talk to the Acerbic one and get the Laurel Staff and the Silver Hairpiece. Now that's a lot of good items already, and I'll let you decide which character you will equip them on. If a certain equipment needs to be used by a specific character, I will surely let you know. The next step is recruiting Alexia, located around the bookshelf section of the library. Entreat the book that she has, and she will join your ranks afterwards. Make sure to equip her with the history of Orstera, since she is one of your damage nukes early on, if you have the book, that is. Before heading outside, make sure to grab the letter fragment on the right. We will now head to the town of Emberglow, and you can do so by heading to Wishvale Trail, and then West Emberglow Wilds, and then finally to Emberglow Wilds, where the entrance of the town can be located. Before we get to the next character, let's get all of the good gear in this town. The terrorized Scarlet Wing in this area can sell you a good silver spear. If you don't have the cash to buy the spear for now, just come back to it later. In a house near the Scarlet Knight, take note of this caretaker, since you can fight him later on to get the linen robe, while you can get the fur robe from the waiting girl besides the caretaker. Go to the church in the top section of the area and get the stimulated earrings from the devout nun, while Father Monaris sells a silver locket, so make sure to get back to him later on if you have the cash. It is time to get your second healer and find Macy in the Emberglow's Inn. An NPC will ask for her help in an urgent situation. Before heading to her location, visit the item shop of Emberglow and buy a piece of Herb of Fortification. Then head to Emberglow's East District, or you can just follow the quest marker here so you won't get lost. Find Macy in one of the residential houses here and give her the herb that you just bought. After the situation gets resolved, Macy will finally join your party. Our next stop is the town of Valore. You can pretty much reach the town of Valore much more easily from Emberglow. But if you want to access the town from Wishvale, you can do so by heading to Wishvale Trail, then West Emberglow Wilds, and then Valore Trail to find the entrance of the town. A mafia house located in the southern section of the town hosts Taviani's stepdaughter. The stimulating cuffs, the quality vest, and the saintly tiara are good items that you can buy later on. Head to the town's main boulevard and head to the northern section of the map, where the indomitable dancer sells the wind attire and shadow bind mastery. So make sure to grab these later on as well. After noting the said items, the next step is recruiting Viator, who is your first warrior in the game. Head to the main entrance of the town where you came in and find the nearest pub from the entrance, and talk to the singing bard and get the attention of Viator. Since we already have the crested key, Viator's attention will be interested in joining your ranks. Head back to the main boulevard section of the town and head to the pub in the western part of the area. Approach Celsus to start his quest. Your answer to his questions are irrelevant and he will be joining your party after the interaction. The next step will require you to do dungeon hopping, and I will be skipping providing directions on how to complete each dungeon to save time and to make this guide concise, because most of them are pretty straightforward anyway. Get out of the treasure chests in these side areas to accumulate additional minor gear and beat the mini bosses for additional XP without a hassle, since these are low level bosses. I will give you the location of these dungeons to get you started. First is the Snowbloom Ruins, located north of Emberglow Wilds. Next is the Serpent Barrow side dungeon, which can be found in the North Theatropolis Plains. The Emberglow Laboratory and the Emberglow Slopes are located near the East District exit of the town of Emberglow. If you follow the requirements of Wishvale, eventually you will reach town level 2. Then you can progress the Kindler's Flame quest. This quest will require you to find a missing person, but it is guided with quest markers, so you will never get lost here. Completing this quest will unlock your crops and will also progress your town and eventually let you build a ranch. For the next step, we will be doing a little bit of sidetrack on West Valore Trail. You can reach this area by fast traveling back to Valore, then Valore Trail, and finally West Valore Trail. Once you are in the area, head to the northern section of the area and find the Befuddling Dagger, which is a very strong dagger early on. The enemies in this area are advanced compared to your level, so just try to flee if a random encounter kicks in. It is time for your first legit farming spot, and the Knight Ardante Garrison side dungeon is the most decent dungeon to grind in the earliest section of the game. Find this location from Theatropolis and then go through its plains and then access the garrison. If you're not a fan of grinding, it's totally fine. You can easily skip all of the grinding steps in this guide and move on to the next ones. But if you decided to grind, follow my formation here that I am showing on the screen right now before starting farming in the garrison. And make sure you equip all of the gear you can while giving the best ones to the protagonist and Alexia. Assuming you pick the merchant as a starting class, The actual method is pretty simple. You can easily break enemies by constantly switching between your party members to exploit enemy weaknesses. Once all of the enemies are broken, you can cast Alexia's lightning or dark damage to nuke enemies, depending on which element the enemies are weak to. Or if I want to sustain my party's SP, break your enemies first, and the protagonist should cast a maximum charge Mystic Shot and watch your SP stacks like a fountain. An hour of consistent farming on this spot will give you an average of 900 to 1k worth of XP, 500 plus worth of JP, and 20k plus worth of money per hour. Pretty nice to get you running and be set for the next spot. I suggest staying here at least till level 15 to 16 before moving to the next step. The next step is unlocking the town of Rippletide. Find the town by accessing Theatropolis Plains, coastal regions, and then head to Rippletide Coast, and finally unlock the town of Rippletide. Notable gear that you want to check out in this area is the Memorial Harpoon of the Confident Fisherwoman and the Elemental Masteries of the Elderly Woman and Tony's Heavy Bow, the Dragon Scarf of Marina in Tressa's house, and finally, the Beastly Scarf of Tressa's dad, which will be unlocked after you recruit Tressa. Let's recruit the 8th member of the party, which is Tressa. Speak to the old man located in the eastern section of Rippletide, and a series of events will take place and fights will be involved, but nothing you can handle if you are level 17 to 20. Completing every interaction will unlock Tressa, and finally, your party is now complete. After recruiting Tressa and updating your equipment, the Rippletide coastline is your next decent farming spot if you wish to grind. The main natural method did not change at all. Break all enemies, and then wipe them all with a fully charged Alexia's AoE spells or a fully charged Mystic Shot from your merchant's kit. Do this method consistently for an hour and we are looking at a 2k plus worth of XP, 1k plus of JP, and 32k plus worth of money per hour. I suggest staying here at least level 20 to 23 before moving on to the next step. This spot also spawn Kates that can give you 1000 XP if you manage to defeat them. Don't try to attack this guy by normal means, use your soul stones to hit and take them out effectively. At this point, you already have the resources to buy all of the gear that you weren't able to buy from NPCs across the major towns. Remember all of the notable items that I asked you to keep in mind, buy all of those, and you can also try contending level 18 to 20 plus NPCs in towns to get more gear and items. The West Valor Trail is the best early spot that you can farm XP, JP, and leaves. You already been here in this spot when you tried obtaining the Befuddling Dagger, and we are still following the same strategy when it comes to the actual farming method. And farming in this spot for an hour gives you 2500 to 3k plus worth of XP, 1200 plus worth of JP, and 45k money per hour. From here, I suggest enjoying the story by following all of the main objectives available to you. You are more than overpowered at this point if you followed all of the steps in this guide. But what if you want to know the best beginner tips that will even improve your experience? This video will teach you everything you need to know, so click on it and I will catch you on the next one.